2013 finally ended, and that means that every single gaming channel will make a top 10 games of 2014. So of course I'm doing it too. But in no particular order, because that's kind of silly. So here you go, 10 games that I enjoyed playing this year. Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. I know it came out on the PS3 in 2030, I don't care. It came out for the PC in 2014, it counts. Coming from Platinum Games, Rising is a spin-off of the Metal Gear franchise and features over-the-top, fast-paced slashing with superb combat and unique mechanics. Slicing enemies into bloody pieces and ripping out their spines has never felt so good. I loved every single moment of this game, even though I'm not a huge fan of these types of games or a Metal Gear fan. But the story, characters and the humor is what cranked this game to an 11 on a 10-point crazy scale. Everything is also complemented by awesome soundtrack. Fair warning though, Rules of Nature might get stuck in your head for days. Towerfall Ascension. Me and my friends love to meet up and play local multiplayer games together, and this year was a year of experimenting with different local games. We tried quite a lot of them, but ultimately there was only one winner: Towerfall. It's a blast. At the start the game feels very simple, but with time and practice you quickly learn how to control your characters better, how the game works and how many little details were put into the mechanics. If you have a spare Xbox 360 controllers, plug the PC to the TV and gather some friends for hours of entertainment. South Park: Stick of Truth. This one was an obvious pick. It's probably the most perfect licensed game ever. Not only it stays true to the original material, it feels like a long, satisfying South Park season. Great writing and voice acting and a lot of appearances of known characters from the series makes it a great and fun thing to watch, not just play. I found the controls to be a little clunky on the keyboard and the mouse, but it's nothing terrible. Other than that, it's a pretty good and simple RPG, and if you're a fan of the show, I recommend giving this one a spin. Titanfall. Giant mechs, jetpacks, fast-paced combat. I've enjoyed my time with Titanfall as it was completely different from most multiplayer shooters that came before it. With huge levels, freedom of movement and the ability to command a giant mech on the battlefield, it's a treat. And the game's battlefields feel really alive, even though not so many mech pilots are in the game. Also, the smart pistol isn't that OP, come on people. Transistor. Masterpiece. Supergiant Games have once again outdone themselves. Telling a beautiful and sad story of a fallen digital city, Transistor had me glued to the computer for hours. With its unique mixture of turn-based and real-time combat, extensively customizable skills, gorgeous artwork, fantastic writing and the outstanding voice work of Logan Cunningham and Ashley Barrett made this story a very memorable one. It's easily one of my most favorite games of all time, and one of the greatest soundtracks of all time. Crypt of the Necrodancer. Danny Baranowski's music makes every game better, it's a fact. And one game was blessed by him, Crypt of the Necrodancer, which has one of the more weird concepts for a video game. It's a roguelite, rhythm-based game that uses DDR dance pads. It's absolutely weird and perfectly executed. It's still far from completion, it's in early access, but it shows great promise and it's pretty fun at its current state. This War of Mine. This was an interesting title. It showed a lot of people that video games don't have to be fun all the time, by showing the less glorious side of the war, the civil side. It's a very sad and depressing survival game. Not a single of my sessions went well with my survivors being happy, or well fed, or without getting attacked. And it's even worse when you get attached to one of the characters and you lose him. Overall, this is one of the more interesting games I've played this year because of the emotional connection. BioShock Infinite Burial at Sea Episode 2. I know it's technically not the game itself but the DLC episode, but it's such an experience I could not leave it out. Burial at Sea, at least in my opinion, is way better than the basic game. Revised mechanics built more around stealth, more open areas with multiple pathways to achieve your goals, and it taps into the dark, grim, fallen utopia of Rapture. What is there not to love? Goat Simulator. It was one of my first entry into the YouTube game genre, and to be honest, it felt more of a toy than a game. But there weren't any goals, just goofy physics, and the whole LOL factor wore off very quickly. But then it got updated, got mods, new levels, and finally the MMO expansion, which so far is the best part. Using goofy physics, you go around doing quests, when meanwhile the game mocks all of the online gaming community tropes. It's stupid, silly, idiotic, stupid, moronic, and makes no sense. That's why I enjoyed it. Juju. I asked for this? I don't think anyone asked for this. But I'm glad it came out, cause it's pretty fun. It was a surprise when it got announced by Flying Wild Hog, mainly because it was an extreme departure from games they previously made. It's a very solid platformer for everyone at every age, and it's a pretty good game to sit down with after a hard day's work and just unwind. Simplistic and well executed. And that's about it. Hope you enjoyed what I enjoyed in 2014, and let's hope that 2015 will bring us many more great games to play and choose from.